Good evening, my lovely rose garden. Now that I am able to focus more on making content for this channel, I thought I'd reintroduce myself using the tried and true get to know meme. But since this is a channel all about books and writing, I tweaked the prompts slightly to be a little more literary. I hope you enjoy getting to know me, and if you're new here and want to get to know me better, please subscribe and check out some of my other videos. I post book reviews, writing advice, and videos about my own journey as an indie author. Now let's get started. Some basic information about me. My name is Roselin, and I am a queer indie author who primarily writes, and reads, horror and fantasy. I have published 4 books and am currently working on several projects, but my primary project is the Alliance Saga, which I am working on together with CarlottaStudios. I am an Aquarius Sun, Leo Moon, Leo Rising, and all 3 are extremely accurate descriptions of my personality, to the point of bullying me. Huh? Oh, you noticed this character art! Well, thank you, it took a million tries before I made something I was comfortable posting with my videos. The character you see on your screen is also Roselin, but is not me, because that won't get confusing at all, right? Jokes aside, Avalon is a sort of fusion of what can basically be called my first ever, very overpowered OC and myself as a writer. They are a character in one of my books, and lore-wise, they are the creator of every book I've ever written under their name. If that doesn't make much sense now, don't worry, a book will eventually come out to explain it. Just think of them as the channel mascot who acts as a representation of me, but is not exactly me. Well, that was complicated. Time to move on to the favorites section. The first of the favorite prompts is my favorite book-to-screen adaptations, which includes both movies and television series. These are Stardust, Good Omens, The Last Unicorn, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, and the Goosebumps TV series. The first 4 entries on this list are there because they are legitimately good movies and shows that are based on books I love or helped me find the books that I love, and I think that these would be ranked pretty highly on anyone's list of best book-to-screen adaptations. I am always down to watch these movies, or in Good Omens' case, miniseries. And then there's Goosebumps, because, well, let's be honest with ourselves, the absolute level of camp and cheesiness in that series and its abysmal effects perfectly captures the essence of what those books were. Plus, they're a major nostalgia trip for me. I laughed at them then, and I laugh at them now, and I have a great time doing so. Some honorable mentions are the recent It duology, My Best Friend's Exorcism, and the Silverwing television series. Next up are my 5 favorite book characters. It is going to be so hard to name just 5, and I think that this is going to be very subject to change based on the day and my mood and the position of the stars. So take the honorable mentions as a list of characters that I might answer with if you ever ask me this in the comments. I'm combining my first answer because I think these 2 characters are so pivotal to understanding each other, and they appear in the same book. But Dak Hammy and Aldrea Iskillian Fallon from the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, because oh my gods, these 2. I think Animorphs is underrated overall, but I will die holding up my banner proudly on the hill that the Hork-Bajir Chronicles is the best book in the series, and that Aldrea and Dak are the best characters. Aldrea is the daughter of the prince who is almost directly responsible for the entire Yeerk War. Dak Hammy is a lone genius on a planet of tree herders. When the 2 meet, it is stars colliding, as they are both so lonely and reaching out for any connection, anyone to understand them, only for this beautiful friendship and blooming romance to be torn apart by the ravages of war and the ways in which their loyalties to each other throw every decision they have to make thereafter into emotional turmoil, and if you read the main series already, knowing how it all ends for them, they have probably the most gut-wrenching romance I've ever read, while also being very different but very relatable characters, showing 2 different perspectives so perfectly. I rambled too long about them, I will try to speed this up. Then there's Nico D'Angelo, my favorite character from my favorite book series. I am so hyped for Sun and the Star, and I wish I was able to read it sooner, but I'm trying to finish reading the books I already own before I get any more, unless they are patron requests. So if anyone wants to do me a solid and sign up for Patreon so I can read it. Peril from the Wings of Fire series has always been my girl since the very first book. I was so intrigued by her character from her very first appearance, with her awkward attempts to make friends and flirt with Clay, contrasting with her status as a ruthless killer in Scarlet's arena. Escaping Peril remains one of my favorite books in the series, and I really hope that Peril was able to find peace with her past and happiness in her future after the end of the series. I still believe that the orange dragonette from Moon's vision was Peril and Clay's child. I don't care what anyone says about Peril's ability to conceive. I wasn't intending to include manga in this because it often feels like Western media and Eastern media are two wholly separate entities, but then I remembered that's dumb, and this is my video, and I get to do what I want. So All Might from My Hero Academia. He is everything to me, and if anything bad happens to him, I will cry. I love a good father figure who fights his own demons alongside his son in order to build a better life for both of them. And last, but certainly not least, Samwise Gamgee from The Lord of the Rings. He is one of the few characters from fiction whose quotes I have considered tattooing on my body. Do I even need to explain this one? It's Samwise freaking Gamgee. Honorable mentions are Percy from Percy Jackson, Darkstalker from Wings of Fire, Midoriya Izuku from My Hero Academia, Cassie from Animorphs, Asher from Kill Your Darlings, Fletcher from the Shadow War Saga, Edgar from The Monster and the Butterfly, Renfield and Quincy from Dracula, Abby from My Best Friend's Exorcism, Aragorn and Gandalf and Frodo and Pippin from The Lord of the Rings, and Bluestar and Yellowfang from Warrior Cats, but specifically from the first arc before their super editions came out. Next, my 5 favorite authors. I think I've said before many times that Rick Riordan is my all-time favorite author. Like, I would actually cry real tears if I ever met him, not just because he wrote my favorite books, but because he seems to be a generally good human being who uses his privilege to uplift marginalized authors. Next is Grady Hendrix. I have just loved every single one of his books so far, and he is an instant buy author for me. I still need to get my own copy of the Final Girl Support Group, and I know he just released a new book that I am dying to get my hands on as well. K.A. Applegate was an inspiration to me all the way back in the 90s with Animorphs, but Applegate has continued to write absolutely beautiful children's literature and is a trans ally who welcomes readers' interpretations of Tobias as trans. Absolute queen. And I think I'm going to have to use my last 2 slots to just shout out all of the amazing indie authors that I've had the privilege to know and read. L.E. Harper's Kill Your Darlings is maybe one of the most impactful books I've read in a very long time. Jillian Maria writes some of the most interesting sapphic romances with unique magic systems. Amanda Dorauer is my go-to for Halloween soft spooky reads. T.L. Bodine's River of Souls blew me away, and I am so excited to read House of Lazarus. E.S. Barrison writes some of my absolute favorite fairy tale retellings, and also has a longer new adult series for those of you who like your fantasy a bit darker. Briana Morgan is the queen of indie horror as far as I'm concerned, and while this last author isn't published yet, I know that Josephine Hinderman is definitely going places, and I eagerly await every update to The Monster and the Butterfly. I'm probably forgetting some authors, and I am so sorry. I'm just so blessed to know all these amazing authors, and you should go check out their books right now. But what about bookish creators right here on YouTube? My favorite BookTube channels are Kate Kavanaugh, specifically for her videos of following well-known authors' writing routines, Reads with Rachel, Jessie on YouTube, formerly known as Books and Bowties, Control-Alt-Cassie, Kari Can Read, The Book Leo, with Cindy, who has branched out since I started watching her, but did start as a booktuber, Fictional Fates, How to Train Your Gavin, and Dominic Noble. If you want to see what's so great about their channels, you can go check them out. I want to end this video with my 3 favorite writing practices. These are the top 3 things I do to have a good writing session. The first is to have a warm, tasty beverage that will stay tasty as it inevitably cools to room temperature, because I never finish drinking anything while it's hot. The second is to put on a fitting playlist for whatever I'm working on. I have several playlists to write to, including ones tailored specifically for my projects, and I'm actually considering making a video on how I create them. And lastly, I never write alone. I always have Winnie nearby to pet and cuddle when the blank white space on my screen starts to make me feel bad. And that's a decent summary of me. Do you have other burning questions about me that you must have answered? Leave them in the comments. While you're there, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more of my content, and check out the links in the description to support a queer indie author. Keep growing till next time, Rose Garden! Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to my patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or in the description below, please consider joining my Patreon. Your support means so much to me and allows me to continue making content. If you want to support my content in different ways, consider buying my books, donating on Ko-fi, subscribing to the channel, or even just giving this video a like and comment. Any and everything is appreciated so much. Keep growing till next time, Rose Garden!